Seems that we are alive. We're live today. You ready?
We are live today?
No, yeah.
We're live. I'm ready. Hello everyone.
Hello everyone. There we are. Actually, we are late. I can complain about Renaud being late because
I'm sorry.
He was watching the France game, the football game. I don't know. Like there is the World Cup that is happening in football or soccer. Depends where you are.
Football.
Soccer. We have a USA, an American guest, so you need to adapt. So anyways, so you had to watch the game, right?
I didn't have to watch the game. I didn't finish it. I just missed the fact that a last minute goal was declined, cancelled for France. So I received a lot of text just making fun of me because of it. But yeah, that's the part that I missed.
Everyone loves VAR. VAR is the video assistant referee or something. Yeah. Anyway, hello everyone. I don't know who of you is watching the World Cup nowadays. Some people chose to do, some people don't care, but anyway, it's a fun international moment where you learn about the different countries and you see different teams playing. So today we have quite a few things that we're going to talk about, and I guess we will go into the into the content and the plan for today. But first, who is watching the World Cup from in the chat? Can you tell me if you're watching the World Cup and where you're watching the World Cup from and what is the team that you're supporting? We know today that Renaud is supporting France.
Who do you support?
That's a tough question.
That's a mean question.
That's a mean question. I don't know. Oh, so Aadil is for USA, of course, and you guys did very, very well. Yeah, yesterday you won against Iran, and you are in the knockout phase. That's a good result. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's Lucie for Monaco, whatever. what are you doing here? You're trying to confuse me, right? So yeah, I don't know. My country doesn't play, so I cannot be for that. But guess what? I have the liberty to choose the team that I like. You don't have that liberty. You don't have this flexibility. I do have it.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess. Well, Samantha is for Brazil. Not surprising. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you, what is it? Maybe Argentina, but Argentina is not doing very well today.
No, but that's when you see a real supporter, like when the team is not behaving properly. So you could say the team that you support that is not just qualified. That's it. Like that's being as a good supporter.
Yeah. So we have Stefan from USA cheering for Spain. Nice. Spain is a very good, but I guess they're going to have a surprise. I mean, they play with this very high block, and that is easy for some teams to kind of counterattack them,
like
right?
France, yeah.
Like France, teams like France that likes counterattacking. Yeah. So what are the other people supporting? Which teams are they supporting?
The thing that is funny is that in the office we have so many nationality that basically we almost have someone that is from each country.
I guess we're gonna win the World Cup. Someone from Prismic, like their country is going to win the World Cup. Like we have what? We have Brazil, Morocco, and Mehdi for Morocco, and you guys are doing not too bad,
we have Brazil, we have Germany, if I'm not complaining.
We have Spain.
We have Spain?
Yeah, Danny,
Spain, yeah.
We have Portugal. Oh, yeah. We have UK. Yes. England.
20.
We have England.
We have a lot of people that are from the UK that are against England.
That's why when I said UK, it's like no, it's not. It's several countries, right? And then
like the Irish and the Scottish are voting against it, not for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, almost every country. Tomorrow, I guess we have I looked at the game. I guess we have two internal fights contests. I think there is François playing against.
At Belgium. Belgium. But anyway, so Sean is saying no World Cup, too much suffering. I understand. I mean, it's a point, right? It's a point, and I agree. There is always some kind of tough things that happen in these kind of big competitions. But I don't know. It's also it's hard to see. Like from one point, it's a moment of gathering and it's good for everyone. From other side, it's like there are things that are not great going on there. So I don't know. Some people boycott. I understand. So yeah, you're not alone. I'm sure there are a lot of people anyway into that. But
that's true.
So. How and what else is happening? Well, there is the huge the big Twitter thing that is getting acquired, and I don't know what people think about it, but I've seen it all around. I used to be all the time on Twitter, but not anymore. But I don't know what people feel about this acquisition. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Just two controversial topics, like World Cup and Twitter.
Yeah, they are controversial, but this is what we're hearing about all the time nowadays, right? So. I don't know. Is it a good thing that Twitter got acquired? Is it all this kind of negative, publicity that is
good publicity? Is it good? Like is bad publicity good publicity?
Yeah, is it?
I don't know. I don't have a clue on that. Like now they are just looking for any fight or any publicity that they can. Like Musk is going against Apple and stuff like that, trying to create some kind of polemic.
Do you think he likes doing that? I guess people think he likes doing that. So. I'm wondering what people in the chat think about this. So why don't you go for the
outline.
Yeah, the outline of what we got. We got quite a few things, and also one more question actually for the people that are seeing us. You can tell us what your role is. Like, are you a developer, rather a marketing person, or what you're doing in your professional job. It will allow us also to kind of customize the content, personalize it for you. If you see like more marketing people there, then we can go more into that and so on.
So today what we are going to discuss is Twitter for 45 minutes. No, just joking. Like, we are going to basically continue on the path that we started like a few months ago, around inviting guests that will share with us their knowledge around marketing, acquisition. And so today we have Aadil Razvi, I hope I'm pronouncing it properly, that will basically run a whole masterclass on competitive analysis. So this is a talk that if you're into creating your brand, creating like your different acquisition channel, you don't want to miss, most likely, and that you'll be able to share with your team, because again, this meetup will be recorded and that you will be able to share it with your team. That's something that we are trying to create more and more, because we think that we can find very relevant people in the community to share their knowledge and to help you becoming better at your own marketing, technically speaking. After that, we'll just jump into more Prismic related discussion and topics. So we are going to share with you like the new updates that were released on the product. So on two sides, product and open source. Lucie will come and just discuss the different open source topic that the team is working on currently. And then, like always, we will showcase a website made by the community and by Prismic user that we think is great. Today it's a website, an e-commerce website that we'll share with you that I'm a user of. So I'm very happy that also they are now a Prismic user. So this will be basically the overall outline of the meetup, and I think we are now good to welcome Aadil.
Yeah, so yes, let's do that. Let's welcome Aadil.
Hello, Aadil. Hello. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How's my audio? Am I coming in clearly?
It's perfect. On my side, it's perfect. Can you let us know on the chat if it's good for you? But on our side, it seems perfect. So, Aadil, do you want to introduce yourself a bit to the community and to the people on the chat?
Yeah. I know. I'd love to dive right in. I can give you an introduction to me, introduction to Demand Curve, walk us through what we're gonna dive into today. But first, I don't come out to a low energy room here. So I want everybody in the chat to drop 0 to 10. How are you feeling right now? Just drop a number from 0 to 10 in the chat. I want to know how's everybody feeling right now. This is partially for me because I'm still waking up.
10 is perfect, or 10 is like
very angry. I'm feeling 10. How do you feel today, Aadil?
I'm let's see. I'm probably at a 6.5. But I want to get like once I get some energy in the chat, I'll bump up.
Oh no, what's your energy today?
I was good. I was a good 8. Today.
8 is great.
But then the day passing like
yeah, it's the evening here, but 8 is good,
And so 8's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Are we ready to get started? Should I go ahead and hop in?
Yeah, go. Please introduce yourself. Please introduce the main curve.
For sure. Is my screen being shared?
No, it's not. Now it is.
Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone to today's Advanced Competitive Analysis Workshop, where you're going to actually be breaking down another company's growth tactics to source ideas for your next growth experiments. Now, just a reminder here that this is a workshop, and you're going to get what you put in. It's not TV, not a one-way thing. So together, let's make this the most valuable 30-40 minutes of your week. Hey, who am I? I'm Aadil. I'm a founding team member at Demand Curve. We help startups apply the same strategies and tactics as the world's fastest growing companies. I run our sales, partnerships, and I lead live content, including masterclasses like these, and previously ran growth operations throughout the company. I also give growth talks to tier 1 VC firms when their portfolio companies need help growing. Just show of hands. I'd love to know in the chat, how many of y'all have heard of Demand Curve before, or is this the first time you're hearing about it?
By the way, you got quite a few 8+ in there, so people are sending energy. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. that picks me up. I like to hear it. Awesome. Well, yeah, a little bit about Demand Curve. You know, our vision is really to become the home for startup growth online. You come to us and we help you take your next growth step. We do that through our flagship growth program. We've got a community of thousands of growth experts. We've got a marketing agency called Bell Curve, a jobs board, newsletter, playbooks, Twitter, lots more. So basically just come to us when you're ready to grow. And we've helped a lot of these companies that you see here. So why competitive analysis? Well, every company's online acquisition strategy, it's already out in the open. You just got to know where to look. So in this workshop, I'm going to show you exactly where to look and how to reverse engineer their growth tactics. Well, why is it important? You're going to learn common growth patterns, ideas you've overlooked, learn what the norms are so that you can break them to stand out, right? What it does is it de-risks your own growth experiments. You're going to find the best growth ideas to adopt and the worst ones to avoid. Now, just a quick note, we're going to be covering a lot, moving rather quickly. Don't worry, you're going to get access to the recording afterwards. My recommendation to get the most value from this workshop is to really skip the really detailed note-taking and just focus on discovering real growth experiments to test for your startup.
Aadil, I already have a few questions. Yeah,
you already have a few questions. Do you want to ask them now, or do you want to go a little bit further?
No, I would like you to answer this for me, because I cannot follow if I don't have the answer. So you're telling about competitive analysis, right? And it feels like, so there are two things that I have questions on. The first one is, okay, so should I be looking at the competitors? How about my own identity and my own ideas and my own existence? If I copy all around, wouldn't I be like some kind of Frankenstein of different strategies in the market, and I have no idea or no identity whatsoever in my company? That's my first question.
The second, it's a fair question.
And the second one, I will give you both, and then you manage the way you want. So the second one, if my source of inspiration is whatever ideas are there already, well, I cannot have the unique idea that is going to make me a unicorn, because often unique ideas bring unicorns, or aren't they, or is it the way that you see it? So these are the two questions.
Yeah, I think I can broadly answer both by saying that many of the challenges that you're going to face when it comes to growth have already been solved by people further along than you. And so the idea here, and that's kind of what the slide here is, like, not to steal, or repurpose another company's hard work. It's to identify other companies who face the same growth challenges as you, that are much further along than you, that spent a lot more money to try to solve these problems, and learn from their mistakes and learn from the things that work for them. I think when it comes to things like growth, there's actually, you can go like really, really unique and try to kind of reinvent the wheel. But oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, the better strategy is just to follow a proven path. And so what a competitive analysis can open up for you is the kind of discovery of, like, what are some proven ways that a company that has gone through the same challenges as I have, how have they solved those problems?
Yeah, and I agree, like, throughout the journey of Prismic, it has been important at some point that we open our eye on, like, okay, well, there are some problems that are already solved and we don't have to reinvent the wheel in every single place. There are some places where we should be unique and be ourselves and have new innovation and new strategies, but there are a lot of other places where problems are already solved and we just can do what is working in the industry. So
that's right.
kind of agree. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So, a lot of, especially when you're early on, it doesn't make a lot of sense to just try to like make it up as you go along. It makes a lot more sense to learn from folks that have kind of been there before. But that's not just like none of this is prescriptive. I also want to say this, like, it's not like you go out and you look at 10 competitors and you're like, okay, they're all doing this thing. That means we need to do that thing too. Like, none of this is prescriptive. Use your intellect here. This is really like a place to source ideas from. And then you got to use your judgment. Like, what makes sense for you? What's on brand? Like, does it actually make sense to, zig where everybody else is zagging? Or, hey, this is something proven and we should actually just do what everybody else is doing because we want to be unique on other fronts.
Very cool.
Cool. Yep. Don't steal. So here's what so you never want to just implement another company's tactics blindly. There's an effective process for growth analysis, and it looks a little something like this. You're going to first source potential growth ideas. You'll prioritize them based on highest impact and lowest effort. Then you're going to A/B test them. You're going to compare how that experiment performed against the status quo. Now, if that A/B variant, if it's significantly outperformed its baseline, and measure like, hey, is the cost of implementing that winner worthwhile? Only then should you actually implement it. So today we're going to primarily go through the source potential growth ideas section. I'll leave you with prioritization, and you're going to have the tools to be able to kind of take this and run with it. Now, who do you want to analyze? Keep in mind which companies are worth looking at. For instance, you should rarely overanalyze early stage companies. They're unlikely to be methodical at growth, meaning if you blindly copy their site and their ads, like it's possible you're going to be copying tactics that aren't actually their growth drivers. Their success may instead be from network effects or other hidden factors. So instead, it's safest to get inspiration from companies who've sustained high growth rates for a long time and who face the same growth challenges as you. They're likely to have sophisticated growth operations worth studying. So I'm talking about like the Pinterest, Airbnb, Amazon, Facebook, Ubers of the world. Like these are folks that are going to have large, sophisticated growth operations. Now, if they're not your direct competitors, don't worry. You don't need to audit a direct competitor's tactics to get incredibly valuable insights. You're going to gain useful insights from auditing the user acquisition funnel of any company that has a similar audience and a similar business model. So examples of audiences could include like wealthy consumers or enterprise businesses or middle-class adults who use Chrome, dog owners, so on. Now, audiences matter because their behaviors and their needs are going to differ wildly, right? Each one is going to require its own bespoke growth strategy. So you're going to want to audit a company whose audiences are similar enough to yours. You're also going to want to ensure the company shares your business model. So, we have some examples here of like a high-touch sales process with multiple phone calls, consumer e-com site. We've got SaaS sign up with a freemium plan or a pay-to-play mobile game. So similar audience, similar business model, and has sophisticated enough growth operations is really what we want to go for. Now, here's what we're going to be looking at for an audit list. We're going to go through landing pages, ads, content marketing, SEO. I'm not going to have time to really go through sign up flow and drip emails, but I'll give you what to look for whenever you're going through those as well. So, like I said, this is a workshop, not TV. So go ahead and copy the worksheet that you see here. It's at bit.ly/DC analysis. Is that something y'all don't mind dropping in the chat for me? bit.ly/DC analysis, and then go ahead and make a copy to your own Google Drive, and then you'll be able to fill it out. So what you're going to want to do is add 3 companies to analyze under that competitor list. And today we're going to go through one, but you're going to be able to go through the rest on your own.
Are you doing it, Noah?
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, there is a slight delay on the chat, so.
Okay, cool. No worries. All right, yeah, no, I'd love to hear in the chat. Give me one competitor that you're looking to analyze and why in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay here.
You're typing a competitor in the chat, Noah? Mine will be WordPress.
Nice. Would you consider Instapage a competitor?
Yeah, on some elements, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go through Instapage today.
Awesome.
All right, Swile. I'm not familiar with Swile, but if you feel like they've been around for a little while, then they probably have something worth studying. Yep, Segment's a great one to study. Wait for a couple more responses.
On the chat, let's go. More competitors.
Not really a competitor, but same types of challenges as us. Yeah, that's a great point. So we're really looking for sophisticated growth operations, same sort of challenges, doesn't have to be a direct competitor. That's a really good call out. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. So first thing we're gonna do is we are going to sleuth through and find their best landing pages and dump those into your doc. Now don't worry about like doing a whole bunch of analysis right up front. We're just gonna dump the links and then you can go through more detailed later on. So first thing you're going to do, just go through and click through their website and grab some of their main pages, right? Their pricing pages, product pages, things like that. Go ahead and dump those into the doc. Those are likely going to be, optimized things. They're on their home page. They've likely run a lot of different A/B tests on them, and they've landed on a version that likely works. So that's something to look at. Just look through their website and grab some of those landing pages. Another thing that you can do is you can leverage Facebook ads library to see which landing pages they're sending their paid traffic to. That's a good indication that the page has been thoroughly tested and optimized, and it's a good one to dissect. So I'm going to go through Facebook ads library in a little bit more detail shortly. But for the purpose of this, let's go ahead and here, let's see if I can show you. So what it is it's facebook.com/ads/library. And I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat here. And if you don't know this, you can basically see what ads are actively being run by any Facebook page. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to look at Instapage, and I can see, look, these are all of the ads that they're currently running on, on Facebook and Instagram. And what you can do is you can actually click into these and see, like, where are they sending their paid traffic to? Like, if they're sending paid traffic to somewhere, that's going to be an optimized page. So, like, right off the bat, like, I can see, all right, they're sending paid traffic to this page. There are things that I notice just immediately just by looking at this, right? There's no nav bar. There's no place to like click off to and look at like their other websites on the page. It's a big call out here. They're running traffic to a webinar. So that's something to maybe study is like, all right, what kind of virtual events can we do? I don't love how many fields that they're putting here, but maybe they've realized that if you add more friction here, they're going to get higher quality leads. So this is just something to take a look at is, where are they actually running their paid traffic to? Here's another example. So this is their official page, right? So this is instapage.com/demo. This is likely going to be pretty optimized. So here we have it. It's just like a simple form. I don't love that they have their social proof below the fold here. It's pretty low, but you can see they're using logos for social proof. They're using these awards for, these sort of value props. I guess these are G2 awards. So, and then they're also like advertising the same webinar that we just looked at, which again, this kind of like distracts, and that's another place to go click off to. So maybe don't copy that, but that's just something to keep in mind.
And so you analyze the landing page and the actual content. Like we didn't talk about the actual ads and the overall content and value prop that you saw here. Like, is it something that you also analyze and compare and look at in terms of performance and competitive analysis?
We're gonna look at ads shortly. Yeah.
Perfect.
So that's Facebook ads library. That's to just see like what are the landing pages that they're sending their paid traffic to. We're gonna look at Facebook ads library in a little bit more detail later. But that's one way to find like, okay, these are landing pages that have had some optimization. Another thing you can do, LinkedIn ads is another place that you can do that as well. And then sitemap.xml. So for most domains, you can see every page, even those that aren't linked to from the homepage, by appending sitemap.xml to the end of a URL. So it looks a little something like this. So instapage.com/sitemap, and it gives me all of these different sitemaps. I can click in. Let's see. It's going to give me, a list of all of these different pages that they have. So this is honestly just useful if you're not able to find like good pages to take a look at. But I would use this as a last resort because you don't really have like a good sense of performance with something like that. Cool. And then another thing that you can do is that you can use a paid tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush, and they're going to reveal the landing pages that are associated with the company's Google search ads. So, if they're sending paid traffic to a page, especially an intent-based channel like Google Ads, they're going to be, useful ones to take a look at. So I'm just going to give you a quick walkthrough of Ahrefs. So this is Ahrefs. If you don't know, I think you can get like a 7-day, $7, trial with them, and you can do all your competitive analysis with them all at once. So taking a look at Instapage, this is kind of crazy. They've been going on like an organic streak here. I'd actually like to dig into this a little bit more. But what you can do here is in Ahrefs, go down to paid pages under paid search, and now I can see where are they sending their paid traffic to. So this is the top one. Let's take a look. Again, you're seeing no nav bar. I don't love that they're like splitting your attention here. They're like, hey, webinar, but also get started with Instapage. That can kind of nerf conversions, but maybe they've tested it. So yeah, this is like where they're driving a lot of paid traffic to. Something to look at as well. Take a look at this one. So this is a comparison page. They're driving a lot of paid traffic to competitors. So that's something to take a look at. Hey, who are your competitors that you can create comparison pages to? We beat Unbounce. Those are all like valuable things to know.
I'm just stopping you just quickly here, just to help one thing. That is that we had Sam O from Ahrefs that came to the meetup like a few months ago. So if you want, like also for the people in the chat to basically have a view on how Ahrefs is basically developing their own content strategy and how do they manage their acquisition, that's a good resource for you that you should be able to find in the YouTube channel. That's the only thing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Super cool. Cool. So now that you've gotten a whole bunch of these landing pages and you've dumped them into your doc, you've got plenty to choose from. Now go through them, and we'll just spend a couple of minutes here. You really want to spend your own time doing this, but like go through them to kind of reverse engineer, what is the company testing here? Like why do certain things work for them? What are different tests that you can run based on what they're doing? So first off, look at value propositions. What are the value propositions that they're focusing on? With these, when you rewrite your landing page, you make ads, even talk on sales calls, you're going to be able to explain why you're better for a specific type of person based on the needs that they're expressing, right? Instead of being indistinguishable from your competitors here. How are they using product imagery? Are they using like close-ups of the product or the product in action? What kind of social proof do they use? We've seen examples of logos. Are they using testimonial videos instead of written quotes? Do they have, like Instapage, they had a bunch of the G2 awards. Figure out like what sort of social proof are they using? That might be something to take note of. Are they testing a different way to show pricing? Are they showing you, hey, here's the payment plan option and showing that as the default option? And then you can save money by buying it all up front. That's what we do at Demand Curve. What hooks you? As you're going through these landing pages, like just make a note, like what gives you a dopamine hit as soon as you see it? You're like, oh, wow, that's super cool. Maybe it's an animation. Maybe it's like a testimonial. And then my favorite question when I'm doing any kind of competitive analysis, maybe when I'm just like leading my life, what makes you jealous? Like what makes you give you that feeling where you're like, oh, I wish we had like our own version of that. Maybe it's like some sort of like pro athlete testimonial, or just try to see like what makes you feel jealous as you're going through this competitor's website. And then ask yourself, how can you turn any of this into an experiment for your own company? Is it worth testing those same assumptions for your own company? What are some other questions that you might ask? What are you seeing for yourself? I'd love to know in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll hang out for a couple minutes. As you're doing this, I'd love to know in the chat, like, what are you noticing? What's jumping out at you? What makes you feel jealous as you're going through these landing pages?
Don't hesitate to share exactly the page that you are looking at, and maybe like the things that you are noticing in the page and that you think are good inspiration for you.
Yeah.
And while waiting for the chat to answer, I have a question for you. Like, I imagine that most of those landing pages that we are analyzing are not only optimized but experiments in a sense. So do you have a way to, for example, know if you are on an A/B test or something like that, and if basically what you are looking at and that strikes to you is really working or maybe not working because there is an experiment going? Do you have a tips on that?
So there are different ways of it depends on what they're using. So if they're using like Optimizely, or they're using like Google Optimize, or like there's different ways of seeing if you're like looking at an A/B variant. You can sometimes kind of create like an incognito window and like a regular window, and like, refresh the page and see, do you get two different variants? Using a VPN, do you get a different variant? I don't know any tools off the bat that'll like reverse engineer that. I'm sure there are. I mean, it seems like such an obvious thing to do. But for a lot of these companies, you're not looking for like the minutia. Like a company like Google, they're not necessarily making really big like macro A/B tests. They're like micro testing the color of different buttons and things like that. For 98% of the people here, you want to take, like, anytime you do any kind of like A/B test, you want to take bigger swings or take kind of make larger growth experiments versus what some of these like bigger companies are going to be making more micro changes. So that's what I would say is just like, I wouldn't worry too much about like if you're being the product of a growth experiment from a company that has really sophisticated growth operations, because these sorts of things, for example, like, what we're talking about here today, like your pricing tables and like, how they're doing their messaging on certain landing pages, like those things are pretty dialed in for like companies that have sophisticated growth operations.
Cool. So do we have any answers on the chat? There's a private chat between Lucie and Daniel at the moment.
No worries. Yeah, if you do, you can drop them in the chat. I'm gonna keep going forward. Oops, there's my camera. I'm back.
I see that there is quite people in the drive document. So please, if you're following this, like, let us know. It's more interesting for us and for everyone, I guess, in the room to have some kind of engagement and to understand what you are looking at the moment, so that we can basically just jump on it and like use it as a base to also discuss with you and to make the content more relevant. So please don't hesitate to share like what you're looking at, what are the things that strikes you in your competitive analysis currently, and leverage as much as possible this discussion.
Yeah, Stefan is saying a very strong social proof section, a very reusable, seeing it on several pages. When someone first lands on your website, they're like, in a matter of seconds, they're trying to evaluate, who are you and what do you do, and what's in it for me, and like, why should I trust you? Those are some of the questions that like come up as soon as someone lands on your landing page. And so identifying social proof, or like ways to communicate social proof effectively, and if those are standing out to you by a competitor, those are things to certainly learn from. All right, we have talked about landing pages enough. Let us move on to Facebook ads. So to see any company's Facebook or Instagram ads, you're going to visit the Facebook ads library and search for the name the company uses on their Facebook page, like I showed you before. But this is just to look at their ads. The Facebook ads library, it doesn't identify which ads are running most frequently. And frequency is a useful signal of efficacy. Companies most frequently show the ads that convert best. So that's why we're going to take this up a notch to get more visibility into frequency. And the way that you do that is by getting retargeted on purpose. So retargeting ads are the ads that follow you around once you visited a company's website. And half the battle is knowing which ads actually work well for your competitor. So the solution here is that you're going to visit the company's site without an ad blocker, head over to Facebook, also without an ad blocker, and then you're going to wait for their retargeting ads to hit you. Now you want to keep an eye on the retargeting ads with the highest number of comments and reactions. Those signal high frequency, which may be indicative of an ad that has worked well for the company over time. You want to study what's good about it, right? Like identify, hey, what are the copy, the creative hooks that compel the right people to click? How are they using imagery? Like what is actually the way that they're presenting the information between their visual and the copy associated with that visual? And then while you're at it, read the ads comments, learn what questions and concerns audiences have about the product. And then if they are a direct competitor, you can address those concerns in your own ads. So I know there's usually I would ask drop into the chat what you're seeing, but I know there's a bit of a delay here, so I'm going to keep going forward. And another thing that you can do is once you've been retargeted, you can actually click on the post options in the top right-hand corner, little drop down. Why am I seeing this ad? And Facebook is going to give you insight into the kind of targeting that they're using. So for example, here with SEMrush, it's I'm an English speaker in the U.S. between the age of 20 to 55, and that's why I'm seeing that ad.
So if people on the chat go directly to a competitor website, do you think they will be retargeted immediately, or do they have to wait a bit?
I mean, it could happen immediately. It could happen, it depends on what kind of retargeting campaigns that they're running, right? So they could be running a campaign that's like, hey, show an ad to someone who came onto our website, after 24 hours. So it's certainly it just depends on what kind of drip sequences that they're running with their retargeting ads. And another thing, this actually the same strategy can work on LinkedIn as well. You can go into a LinkedIn ad, and then I think it's why am I seeing this post? And then you can see what is that exactly the targeting that company is using that would have them see your post.
Interesting. Interesting.
Cool.
So in the chat, let us know.
Yeah, let me know. What are you noticing here? Tell me, are there any things that stand out at you about a competitor's ad? Are they actually running ads? That's something to notice. Hey, maybe Facebook ads is not a proper channel for our market. Or maybe it's an opportunity. It's hey, they're not running ads. That could be an opportunity for us to step in. So I'm just curious, what are y'all noticing around paid social ads?
So I'm seeing myself, a company using tweets directly and social proof basically through really social to the overall value of what the product is building is bringing them. So using social media basically as a social proof, and some of their users to basically have a testimonial on the value of the product.
It's good just to get a feel too on the various activities that a competitor is running. You're going to have to the next step is prioritization, because you're going to have to decide, hey, this competitor is way better funded. They've been around for way longer. They have got, way more sort of, more of a team. And so they're able to push out a lot of social content in a way that works for them, or, they're able to put out a lot of blog content and have a really robust SEO strategy. But maybe, internally, we're just not there yet in terms of the types of resources that we can allocate. So it's a good thing to keep an eye on that's hey, these are things that are, kind of bigger companies in the space are doing. But then you really have to decide and prioritize, like, is it actually, a worthwhile test, which we'll get to, how to think through that. Someone says, those Zapier TikTok rhythm videos are painful. Wow, I haven't seen any of those. But actually TikTok has the same thing. They have the TikTok Creative Creative Center. You can see the creatives that different folks are running on TikTok as well.
You get targeted a lot, Sadek, on TikTok? I know you're a good TikTok user.
No, I don't get retargeted for some reason. I don't know. They're not connected. I don't know. There is something about it.
They're working on their algorithm, I think. Okay, cool. We'll keep chugging along then. Google Ads. So, again, you can use a tool like Ahrefs to audit your competitors' paid search keywords. You can find their click costs, search volume, and associated ads. So if you see that a company spent a lot of money for certain types of keywords, that's a signal that those keywords likely work. And you may want to reverse engineer their strategy here. So maybe it's like we just saw, like competitor pages, like that's like a very big thing. They're putting a lot of budget behind Instapage versus Unbounds. So that's something, interesting to notice is like, hey, where's their money going? Because those are, ways of kind of reverse engineering their strategy. For content marketing, we can again use a tool like Ahrefs. It also doubles as a tool for the organic keywords that a company's blog relies on. So with Ahrefs, you can identify their highest volume keywords and associated blog posts. Then you can cross-reference that data with something like BuzzSumo, which is like a social sharing. It'll show you basically like the social shares for each post. I'll show it to you in a sec.
Awesome.
And you can basically see, okay, like what content went most viral from their blog and what has like the highest volume blog posts from Ahrefs. So, highest volume from Ahrefs, highly enjoyed from BuzzSumo, and then you can find like a sweet spot of topics that you might want to write about. Many different ways of thinking about this. That's just one different way. Another thing that you could do is you can make a list of your competitors' top 10 most shared blog posts from BuzzSumo. You can export a CSV showing everyone who shared your competitors' posts. Read through all the posts. Find anywhere where the competitors skimmed a topic. Can you make content that's 10% better that fills in the gaps? If so, maybe write that. And then once it's live, you can share it with everybody who linked to the original competitor's version and see if they'll actually promote yours too. So I know I'm kind of glossing over content because that alone could be its own hour-long workshop here. But that at least to get you started, that's what I would look at. Let me see. So here's BuzzSumo. I put in instapage.com and it's showing me the what has the most shares from BuzzSumo, from Instapage. And okay, this ebook has the most shares. So that's something to notice. It's like, hey, a big part of their content marketing strategy is this sort of like guide type thing. It's a lead magnet. You get the guide in exchange for giving your contact information.
That's interesting. And so you just commented earlier on the fact that Instapage was basically positioning themselves also against the competitor. So like, can you leverage in a sense the competitive analysis to position yourself also in the competitor for this kind of pages? Like how and generally speaking, do you think it's a good strategy to position yourself in competitor through acquisition?
Absolutely. That's a really great point because one of the things that if you put yourself in the mind of a prospect, they're evaluating easy website page builders. They're looking at all the different options. They're looking at Unbounce. They're looking at, VWO and Optimizely and, Strikingly and, Prismic. They're looking for different options to solve their problem. And so if you don't know what your competitors are saying about solving that problem, you're not going to be able to stand out from what everybody else is doing. And so doing something like this sort of competitor analysis is going to be really informative if you do want to make kind of a competitor landing page, like a Instapage versus Unbounce or a Prismic versus Instapage, or however you want to structure it. This kind of process is going to give you the insights to to speak to those things. You want to make sure you're not just like saying the same thing that everybody else is saying, and you want to know like, okay, what's missing in like the market messaging? Like, what is it that is actually most important that nobody's saying? So I think that's something that can open up when you do this sort of thing.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So for the onboarding flow audit, so everything that you need to build a high conversion funnel in a matter of weeks, not years, it's right in front of you. The problem is no one wants to look. Not you though. You're on this masterclass. You're definitely going to. So for every company with a similar audience and business model, you're gonna sign up for their newsletter, sign up for their free trial, buy their product, click the tutorial links that they're sending you via their drip emails. So basically, you're going to pay attention to every attempt they make to reach out to you, right? Their emails, their ads, their sales outreach, everything. And you want to pay special attention to what do they do to reduce friction and increase desire, right? How are they enticing the user? And then again, my favorite lens to look through when you're doing any kind of competitive analysis, what makes you feel jealous? And put that into your doc to study, right? Like, what are they doing in this onboarding? Like, what are those sort of like moments where you're like, oh, wow, okay, that's more than just an email. Or, hey, I actually, they really simplified this idea that we're struggling with how to communicate to our audience. That's something to learn from. So you want to put those things in your doc study. Now, obviously, like onboarding flow audit, that's going to take... it'll take more time than the time that we have for this workshop, but you're going to be able to do that on your own.
Can you give us an example of the last thing that you saw and you were jealous about when doing your own competitive analysis for the onboarding flow, for example?
When doing it for who?
For you.
Let me think. Okay, so one really cool thing that I've seen in an onboarding flow is kind of juxtaposing, like as you're signing up for a product, it's on the other side. It's showing like social proof. So it's like, okay, I'm going through it. I'm filling up like the sign up form, but then on the other side, it's like an example of a company that's similar to mine, that is like giving a little bit of a testimonial quote right there. And so as I was going through, it's like, okay, they have like a 4-page sign up process to go through the onboarding. Like I imagine a lot of people drop. And so because they've now juxtaposed it with like a high value testimonial from a company that's similar to me, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go to the next page. Then there's a new testimonial for someone that's like, all right, fine, I'll go to the, and so that's something that I was like, okay, that's that's decreasing the friction, as like I said, reducing friction, and it's increasing desire. Like I want to have the same results that this testimonial is saying, and it's reducing the friction for me to get it. So that's like an example of something that I've come across recently.
Very cool.
Cool. I don't know how we're doing on time, but we're almost done here. One of the last things you can do is you can peek at their tech stack. So you can explore using something like Built With. There's a lot of different there's a lot of different companies that do this, but to figure out which tools a company is using, to streamline their onboarding flow, or just generally like with their acquisition strategy, notice what they're using and compare it to your own stack. And note hey, why might they go with one tool over another? So let me just quickly show you what I mean by that. So this is builtwith.com, and then I put in Instapage, and I can see what are the current technologies that they're using. Okay, I see that they're using Marketo, GrowSumo, HubSpot, VWO. That's kind of interesting to me. I thought that they had functionality that included like A/B testing and things, but they're using somebody else for that. Yeah, and then another thing you can do is you can do what's called a detailed technology profile. So you can see, okay, like Instapage is way further along than us. Let's see what they were doing when they were closer to our size. So if I go into the detailed technology profile, all right, let's see if this works. I can actually take a look at when was it first detected and last detected. So they've been using Segment forever. That's kind of interesting. Let's see, Optimize 360. They started that in May 2017. Okay, so this is interesting. So they used Optimizely from November 2011 all the way to March 2021. So let's see, what did they start using like closer to March 2021 instead of Optimizely for this stuff? I'm seeing HubSpot here, that they started using HubSpot in March 2021. I'm not sure if this is replacing that. Let me see where VWO is. I'm curious how they're doing that. Here we go. Oh, okay. So they just started using Visual Website Optimizer. So it's clear that they, were testing some things out. They used Optimizely for a long time. It probably got too expensive for their needs, and they started looking at other things. So it's just interesting. You can go back through and look at like the journey that a company took and the tools that they used along the way, and try to see like, okay, yeah, when they were at our stage, they used this tool, and maybe that's something that we should explore.
That's very cool. Very interesting.
Cool. Bit of a bonus tactic here. Not everybody's going to get this lucky, but one way of learning which channels are working for a competitor is checking to see if they asked where a new customer heard of them from. And then you can jot down all the suggested possibilities and potentially source for yourself. So these are all examples of places that this company would have gotten business from, and those are all like potential growth channels for you. So not everybody's going to get this lucky.
So as a company, if you don't want to be analyzed by your competitor easily, you just detect their email and you just prevent people to access like their referral source.
Exactly. Cool. So we have sourced potential growth ideas. Hopefully you've got like a good beefy list of different things you could potentially test. The next step is to prioritize. So you're going to want to go through your document and re-review each section. Ideally, you've done a couple other competitors, but you've got enough to go off of here. Now you want to look for 2 to 3 learnings that would have the highest impact and the least amount of work to implement. So highest impact on your own site that are the least amount of work. Be lazy with it. That's really the key here. And then add those high leverage learnings to your top takeaways section at the top of the doc. So, just to kind of wrap this up, I would love to know, go ahead and share in the chat one top takeaway you'll be testing from this workshop. Like what will have made this last 48 plus minutes that we spent together, what will have made it worth it for you that you're going to actually take away and test? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. I'm super curious.
I like your overall testimonial embedded in the sign-up process. I find that very interesting. Very, very, very nice. I think it's worth trying. Like, I saw InVision implementing that, and not only like at the time, not only it looks relevant and performant, but it looks nice on top of it. When those sign-up pages are like often pretty empty and not very attractive in a sense, it gives like a sense of attractiveness to the page.
I totally agree. Yeah, I mean that's I think one of the easiest areas of like conversion rate optimization for startups that's often the most overlooked is the onboarding flow. And so just for everybody here, if you're thinking about revamping your onboarding flow, what I recommend is go through your onboarding flow, like from landing on the website to clicking sign up to filling out the all the way into actually getting into the product, to using the product. Go ahead and just make a list, write down every single step in detail that you've taken to like go through your onboarding flow. You're gonna find things. You're like, oh wow, why do we have this step? Why are we like asking people for this information? Or we can actually combine these 2 fields into one. Or hey, we don't really get them to like a point where they get to activate and really feel the magic of the product until way too late. Maybe we should move that before the sign up process. So that's something to look at, is conversion rate optimization for your onboarding flow.
All problematics that we are discussing and looking at Prismic.
Sorry, what was that?
All like opportunities of improvement that we are discussing frequently at Prismic.
Yeah, for sure, man. I hope the Instapage example was semi useful.
We are going to be able to anyway do our own analysis, I guess, for the whole competition and inspire for others.
For sure. Cool. Let's see. We've got Wappalizer. Yeah, that's a great example of another tool. I'm a built with guy, but Wappalizer is great too. And we've got giving A/B testing a lot more than I currently do from Alex. So Alex, one thing I'll just have you keep in mind when you're running any sort of A/B test, and I touched on this earlier, is you need a statistically significant amount of data in order to validate any kind of A/B test. And usually, if it's something like your home page, you're likely not getting enough traffic in order to kind of substantiate those tests. Unless you're like, wait, I have no idea what you're doing. But most of the time for startups, that's something that I find. And so if you are running any kind of test, make sure it's like a big swing. Make sure it's like a macro change, like a big swing rather than like smaller, like, oh, I'm just going to swap out the social proof and, you know, just change that one little element. Unless you're running it in paid. So paid ads are a way to like get faster learnings without needing to, like you're going to get like statistically significant data with paid ads much more quickly when you're doing something like A/B testing.
Sadek?
Disable my. I was just reading this. Sorry. Finding top LPs through paid ads. Yep, definitely. I mean, it's going to be their most optimized pages, right? They're paying a lot of money to get those in front of their most valued prospect. You know, the people who are in, like, with their intent is to, you know, purchase a product like theirs. And so those pages are going to get a ton of TLC, a lot of love and care on those pages. So definitely take a look at those paid pages. Curious what's superior with built with. I have no idea. I just haven't tried other tools very much. So it's like try a bunch of tools and see what works. Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying I think we are here like running a bit out of time, and so.
Yeah.
So you have a last question on the chat. Yeah.
Just wrap up here. So, you know, you can go deeper on competitor research and 250 plus growth topics with our growth program, where we teach you growth while you actively grow your startup. It's entirely self-paced. You can start anytime. We've got a ton of free resources here. So if you want to check out like a free trial of that growth program, where, you know, you learn all sorts of like creating your growth strategy and like all sorts of stuff, you know, you can do that at bit.ly/demand-free. We also have a ton of free playbooks. So here, I'll drop those in the chat. If you haven't checked these out, like these are like beastly, you know, what other people charge for, we give away for free kind of thing. Go check out the playbooks. Yeah, we got a newsletter, Twitter, private Slack community. Check us out. It's all things at demandcurve.com. But thanks so much for having me. This was super fun. I hope it was useful.
Yeah, it was very useful. Like, so did you drop the link of the Slack community and the overall syllabus and all like on the chat, so that because it's very useful for everyone to get access to. I really recommend the actual content that there is there. If people want to reach out to you or like follow you.
Oh yeah, like, let me show my stuff real quick. Hold on. Let's see. So this is my LinkedIn. Yeah, awesome. Get connected. Definitely would love to stay connected with y'all. And then let's see, my Twitter, which I will probably use at some point more regularly. Cool.
And so, do you plan to run another masterclass like this soon enough, or like a next event that you'll be given, a next talk that you'll be given?
For whom?
Do you plan to have like any kind of type, any other type of event like this one, or any masterclass that you are running soon, for example?
Oh, for Demand Curve?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're actually going to be doing a lot of kind of like live cohort classes where, you know, pay a few $100 and you're going to get like for example, we're doing one with Caitlin Burgoyne on Bourgoin. I mean, I'm speaking to a French audience. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. But yeah, like, you know, we're doing like a how to grow your audience. Like we've got a course coming out, like live course for that. We have one on creative, on branding, on landing pages. So if you stay on our newsletter, you'll be up to date on you know, all of our events and stuff.
Awesome. Sorry. Anyone?
No, that's it for me. Thank you very much, Aadil, for all the resources that you shared with us.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
See you soon, hopefully, and thanks a lot again for the content. And yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Right. So what you got next?
Product.
I guess I will leave my space for Lucie to kind of introduce the product news that you have.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's switch places.
Coming back for the end, for the website of the month.
That's it for me. Good luck with everything.
Not even the Q&A, nothing?
No.
I'm going to watch the game.
Probably.
Hello, Lucie.
Hello.
How are you?
Great, thanks. Well, I'm not into football, so I don't really care what's happening tonight.
I can imagine. So what do you want to talk about today?
All right, so I'm leading.
Yeah, you're starting.
All right, so, well, first of all, good evening, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Lucie from Prismic. I work in the team as a developer experience engineer, and today I'd like to talk to you about some of the updates that happened in the JavaScript ecosystem during the last month, because there's huge thing that happened in the JavaScript ecosystem. And first of all, I'd like to talk about Next.js. So, I don't know if you followed, but I'm pretty sure you followed for those who are into Nextjs. But basically, Nextjs released version 13 last month, and this comes with a lot of great features for you. Which, again, okay. So I'm not here to do a recap of everything that Nextjs was released. I'm pretty sure that if you're into Nextjs, you already came aware of those, but basically there is a new app directory that allows you to take advantage of next generation React features. They have a new engine to build their website, which is called TurboPack, and that is quite a fast engine like everything nowadays. They also revamped the Next link and Next image component, so making them a bit more performant for web vitals and the overall performance of your website. And they also introduced Next font in the same on the same version, to always make your website more fast while providing you great developer experience to make your website better with Next.js. And in that regard, I'd like to talk to you about some of what's the impact for you as a Prismic user using Next.js to develop your website. So first of all, and the thing that we want to make clear here is that Next 13 is supported by Prismic, and you can update your Next website with Prismic to Next 13 now.
Now.
I mean, Prismic shouldn't be able to for you to make that. Some things to note: Prismic Next image, so the wrapper Prismic provides to deal with Prismic images, the Next.js way using Next images, has been updated to use the new Next image component. That's extra nice. The Prismic Next link component is still working the same way, and so that shouldn't give you any trouble. But just a heads up that the new experimental app directories that Next introduced with Next 13 is not yet supported by Prismic. There are some quirks on making it supported, and it's not fully stable, and the experimental flags they put around it. We will, of course, support the app directory once it has stabilized a bit, and we're sure that it has all the feature we need to make sure we can provide a comprehensive and deep integration with it when available.
What does it mean not being supported? What are the use cases that you will not be able to manage, for example? You don't know? Sorry.
Hard question. Basically, the app directory is to allow you to work with next generation React features, so server-side component and things like that. This comes with some added complexity and some new paradigms that aren't fully like defined yet. Like there's some issues with the directory itself, like some bugs that still needs to be fixed on the Next.js side.
Okay.
So we're waiting for that to settle a bit before making a move on our side. Otherwise, like this, well, if we were to like work on supporting it now, like maybe this will like lead to many breaking changes and like instability. So, well, like basically we're not confident today in being able to provide you a great experience with that directory because it might move too frequently for now. So we're waiting a bit, which might be frustrating if you're into like living on the edge with Next.js. If you're like really curious about that, we're discussing that on GitHub right now, so you can go check out our Prismic Next GitHub repository. But if you just want to give a try to Next 13 and Prismic, well, we updated our starters to support Next 13. So you go check out this link that Noah will share in the chat.
Okay, Noah will share in the chat, cool.
Or I can do it if that's simple.
No, I think Noah will do it.
Okay, well, thank you. Noah. Well, but yeah, you can give a try to those starters with Next.js that has been updated to work with Next 13.
For people that don't know, because it's getting a bit meta here, Noah is behind the camera, like you don't see her, but like she's basically helping us like monitor the stream, making it run alongside Pierre and Flo that are like also behind the camera, and so we have a whole team behind the camera that is helping us like run this show.
It's really professional live streaming. We have like 5 professionals in the room.
And the link is now on the chat.
Yeah. And with the delay and everything, it's perfect.
Yes.
All right. So, well, those were the updates for Next 13. Now I'd like to, well, of course, like we talked about React, we talked about Team Blue, but, well, we need to talk about Team Green now. And that is, well, that's mean like talking about Vue.js and Nuxt. And, well, like Nuxt 2 weeks ago released finally Nuxt 3. So Nuxt 3 is a new version of Nuxt that, well, mainly like supports Vue 3 and provides you with a comprehensive universal framework to work with Vue 3. It comes with like many new features, one of which that I really like is this on-demand rendering. So basically this allows you to define the rendering method for every route on your application. So you can say like your blog is statically rendered, that your user pages are server-side rendered, and that maybe some other pages are like edge rendered. So you have really like a lot of flexibility for that now, and that's quite exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
and yeah,
if you want to optimize blog, for example, like statically, you will go to static. If you want to perform a B-test, like we discussed earlier, like you will go either server-side or edge.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's nice.
So yeah, and what is also really cool about Nuxt now is that it's really an evolutive framework. So it scales up and down according to your needs. So if you just want to develop a landing page, you can just have a Vue file. But if you want to develop more like a full-blown application, like it comes with all the things needed to support your like API routes, middleware, and yeah, like directory structure for pages and everything. So I really like that. Well, basically, like if you're building a website, like the requirements aren't really clear, like choosing Nuxt is really, I think, like a pleasant way to get started because you know that whatever falls on your lap, Nuxt will got you back and will empower you with great APIs to make things happen. All right, and yeah, what's also cool about Nuxt is that now that it's stable, we like there's more and more modules available for Nuxt 3, and modules are a way to extend Nuxt functionality and add endless integrations. And in that regard, well, like that's a great segue to talking about Prismic Nuxt module. So, Prismic Nuxt module. At Prismic, we offer a Nuxt module to develop with Nuxt. This is the preferred way to integrate Prismic with Nuxt. We have a module for Nuxt 2. And, well, we also have a module for Nuxt 3, which supports fully Nuxt 3 with Prismic. Like, you have previews, you have, like, everything, like many components to template your content, to fetch content from Prismic and everything. And for us, we consider it ready for production. So what this means that you can, like, start building Nuxt 3 website, use the module, and work with Prismic. However, there's a small catch that for now, Slice Machine, so the developer tool that we build at Prismic to create websites with slices, doesn't support Nuxt 3 yet. But we are working on it, of course. We're working on it. There's no ETA that we can share. We can just say early next year. That's what I'm allowed to say with this guy next to me. But in the meantime, you can still like develop with Prismic on Next.js, and you can go check out the next module on v3.prismic.nextjs.org, which is the links that Noah just shared in the chat. Thank you, Noah.
So, just a quick comment on Slice Machine and Next.3 support. The overall goal of the team is not only to support Next 13 and Next 3, it's also to create a way deeper integration with this new version of the framework, and so to simplify the overall developer experience. That's why we are taking a bit of time to basically implement that and to release it, because we just don't want to replicate what we've done with the previous framework. We really want to basically deeper the integration and add functionalities, features, and a deeper integration that will facilitate like the way we generate the documentation for you, the way we generate the component, to integrate with like other elements of your stack, for example, better integration with TypeScript and all this kind of stuff. So that's why we are taking a bit more time than what it took us to support other version of the framework in the past. But just we are taking a bit more time to do it right and do it even better than what we were doing before.
Exactly. All right, so that's the update I had regarding JavaScript framework. That's the Google Meet.
Okay.
But now like the mic is yours, I don't know.
Okay, cool. So, but that was a nice transition for Slice Machine, and I guess that's the main thing that I will discuss now. So, I have one product update to share with you. The latest release that we've implemented in Slice Machine and that we released like in the past week is the Slice Machine 0.5. So we are, as you can see, continuously investing and developing Slice Machine to make it as good as possible for your developer experience and to basically help you building the website builder for your marketing team the most effectively possible. That's better like this. And so one of the critical elements that we see in the way people are so the thing is that we don't want to only make a good developer experience, we also want to make a good developer experience that will ensure that the marketing experience is good. So if we look at our at this repository, for example, we've introduced in last year overall a new feature at the time that was around providing slices screenshot for marketing team, and this allows marketing team to basically understand what are the slices that they have, and so what are the sections that they can use to build their pages. Okay, so how do we do that? It's simple. You do that with Slice Machine. But what we saw by analyzing a bit data and also through talking with our user was two things. One, a lot of the slices were not having screenshots. Okay, so a lot of marketing teams were basically not profiting and not enjoying the fact of having an internal documentation in their Prismic repository, and in that case understanding what are the slices that they added. The second part is that the overall flow of managing screenshot was not easy for developer, and so basically this problem was creating another problem on the marketing side. So we've implemented a new workflow and a new way to manage screenshot in a more effective way. And better warnings for you as a developer to understand when screenshots are missing and when you need basically to pass them to your marketing team, and also another way, a better way to basically manage them. So I'm here in the same repo and I created a new slice, a nice one that I can see here, for example. So if I open it, it looks good. I'm happy with it, and it's like a new feature slice with like a grid, etc. But in this new screen, that is the sync changes screen that we've introduced like a few weeks ago, I can now see before pushing it, because I'm happy with my slice and I want to offer it to my team, that this screen is now basically clearly, explicitly telling me that I missed screenshot. Okay, and so I can do two things here. I can basically click on the update screenshot, and in that case, drag and drop, for example, my nice slice screenshot here.
Wow,
that's good. Or I have a way to go from the capturing screenshot from the simulator, so as I did, like my slice preview, and taking a screenshot from here. Hopefully this will work correctly with Puppeteer and my...
like we are crossing fingers.
Yes, I have a pretty dense project, so bear with me.
Well,
I shouldn't have done that.
Well, in all fairness, it's possible. Well, I don't know. Did you succeed?
Good. screenshot taken. So
okay, so just heads up, it took time because it was likely a cold start for Puppeteer, which has to run like a Chrome browser, like headless. So I think subsequent screenshot should be much faster than this one.
Anyway, that's good, and it's working, and I now have a screenshot that works for me. I prefer the custom one though, so I'm going to re-upload it because it made more sense for me. Now that it's done, basically I will be able to push my changes, but that's not only that's not the only thing that we've improved here. Is that when you will have multiple warnings, this screen will allow you to basically update all the screenshots, and so letting you know for, let's say you are passing 4, 5, 6 slices and different variation, they will list all the slices that needs an update, that all the variation for this given slice that needs an update, allow you to manage that in one screen, and then when you're good, just push your changes, and then you will have your website that will be now properly documented with your new slice and their actual screenshot. That's the main overall improvement that we passed on the latest version. Now we are continuously improving Slice Machine. If you want to do one thing, you can follow basically all our progress in the Prismic.io /progress page. Just to let you know what are the next updates to come. We are currently working on simplifying the overall setup of your Slice preview environment. So that's something that you can, for example, follow here and register if you want to be notified when the updates are being released. If not, you will see it anyway in your changelog of Slice Machine here. Like you will see a nice pop-up showing up and introducing like what are the changes and how to update. But that's the main thing that we are looking at the moment, improving this overall setup of what we call the Slice preview environment or the simulator. And we are working in a lot of new exciting stuff like deleting custom types and slices and editing your mocks in Slice Simulator. So if you want to participate to research, test, beta feature or being notified of new changes, please don't hesitate to go to the Prismic.io /progress page and basically upvote for a feature that you think is relevant. I think that's it.
Okay.
I think that's it for the product, if I'm not mistaken, and if I'm not forgetting anything. But that's it. Go ahead. No?
Don't want to.
I don't want to.
The setup.
So the setup.
Well, if you.
I said it. I can give a bit more context on what does it mean the Slice preview, setting at your Slice preview environment. Basically, you saw the simulator is the feature that I use that helped me as a developer to develop more efficiently my slices, because I work with local content and mocks. And so what we are doing today is that we are improving the overall error management, the overall documentation in the tool to basically introduce and simplify your setup. But I think we'll anyway introduce this kind of feature a bit more next month during the next meetup, because this will be most likely released, and so we'll be able to demo this.
Yes, and next month's meetup might be pretty exciting.
Yes, there is a lot of very exciting stuff that are coming. Just a change of the date, I guess, for the next meetup. It will be earlier than usually. Usually we do that the last Wednesday of the month. That's why we are the 30th of November and we are having this meetup. The next one will be the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, of December.
So in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So you'll get basically a Christmas gift before
yes.
time. Because we have very, very exciting stuff to share with you, stuff that we are very happy about, and so yeah, I will advise you to be there. On that note, and to talk about a website using Slice Machine, we are going to introduce the website of the month now, and this website is bonnegueule. It means nice face in French. So as I said, I'm a customer of this website. So basically it's a fashion website for men, I think. I don't think they do...
No, they do for women also.
They do now? Okay,
yes.
Cool. I thought it was for men because I knew through their blog where it was extremely focused on like how to
wear a shirt.
Exactly. How to be fashionable as a guy, you know, like how to look good as a guy. That was their main way to acquire user, I guess, and their main niche. So they released this website recently, and it's made with Prismic. It's the interesting part of it is that they've done this connecting it to Magento, so a Magento database for their product catalog, using a very interesting stack that I would advise you to check out also. It's called Front Commerce, so to do the linking between Prismic and Magento. Very interesting tool. And it was made by an agency that is a partner that built multiple sites with Prismic called Antalis, so French website, French agency. They did a lot of very nice websites with us. And if you want to understand a bit the goal, like, as I said, they had a historical media content, like creating content like how to choose a shirt when you're a tall guy or when you're a small guy, I don't know, for example. And they did a lot of content around that. They developed a brand of clothes to basically use that acquisition channel and leverage as much as possible their editorial website. And so they started to to sell actual outfits. And so they merged basically their e-commerce and their editorial website, and that was the main goal, like having one unified website. And so the main thing was, when you do a very heavy editorial website, a very e-commerce relying on very important editorial website, you rely a lot on SEO and on acquisition. So they wanted to basically keep a very strong focus on SEO by continuously creating content. And so they reworked like all the layout of article first to be extremely optimized for SEO. They basically manage their own internal linking to again optimize as much as they could for their SEO acquisition and then redirect to the actual product that they sell. And so the overall strategy is very interesting. The overall connection between editorial and shop is very interesting. But on top of it, since they have this culture of editorial website, like they created pages for the actual product that are awesome, like extremely rich, extremely detailed content. When you try to sell a product, you can inspire a lot on how they basically create content for actual product and how they try to magnify their content, their product through content. And yeah, their overall editing content, editorial content, and resources, because like they are very rich, very detailed, and either as a consumer you will get a lot of good things, but also as an agency, a marketing expert, you can, I guess, use bonnegueule as a in your competitor analysis for content, because they have a lot of things to inspire from, I think. And I guess just to go back to our subject today, Aadil would have maybe find bonnegueule very interesting to analyze and to inspire from. So go check it out. As always, if you want to be showcased as a website of the month, don't hesitate to reach out to us on the forum or to drop your link in YouTube. And I think we are good for tonight. So thank you all for being there. And you can, if the content was interesting for you, if you want more of this content, you can look at our YouTube channel. You can subscribe also for the next meetup, again, 14th of December. And yeah, thanks a lot for being there. See you in 2 weeks.
Yes, see you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.
It's perfect timing.